remember, and forget. Think about the concept of time here. You can think of the infinitive as looking forward. It's pointing to an action you must complete in the future, kind of like an item on a mental to-do list. On the flip side, the gerund looks backward. It points back at a vivid image in your memory of something that has already happened in the past. So let's test this out. If I ask you about your front door right now, are you recalling a past event you experienced, like the physical sensation of turning the key? Or are you reminding yourself of a task you need to do before you leave the house? The grammar you choose reveals exactly which mental state you're in. Let's look at the difference in practice. I remembered locking the door uses the gerund. It describes an image kept in your memory of something that happened in the past. You're visualizing the action. Whereas, I remembered to lock the door is about not forgetting a necessary action. First, you remembered, and then you performed the task. The remembering happened before the locking. And the really crucial point here is that the exact same rule applies to its opposite, forget. You'll never forget seeing the Taj Mahal because it's a past memory that's permanently etched in your mind. But you might forget to do a task, meaning the task was in the future relative to the forgetting, and well, because you forgot, the action just never happened. Section 2. Effort versus experiment. Try. When you face a problem in life, your approach completely defines your grammar. Are you putting in maximum effort to overcome some massive hurdle? Or are you just testing out a potential solution, sort of throwing things at the wall to see what sticks? Using try with an infinitive means you're making a deliberate attempt to do something difficult, like trying to reach the top of a mountain in bad weather. It implies struggle, and often it implies that you might fail despite your absolute best efforts. But using try with a gerund simply means you're testing to see if something is suitable or effective. It's about the result, not the struggle. For instance, take the phrase, try calling Miriam on her mobile. This is classic advice. You aren't saying that dialing a phone is some Herculean physical struggle. You're just suggesting a method. If the landline doesn't work, test this alternative option to see if it solves your problem. It's just a simple experiment. Section 3. Pausing or quitting. Stop. Okay, using stop with an infinitive means interrupting your current ongoing activity in order to do something else. The infinitive tells us the entire purpose of the pause, while stop with a gerund means the action itself, the ing verb, comes to an absolute and final end. So if you say, I stopped to drink coffee, you're basically telling a little story. You were walking or driving or working, and you paused that main activity so that you could enjoy a nice hot brew. The coffee is the reason for the pause. But, and this is a big one, if you say, I stopped drinking coffee, you are making a major lifestyle declaration. You have quit caffeine completely and permanently. The gerund drinking is the action that's been terminated. See how vital it is to get this one right? Section 4. The passive fix, need. When something requires maintenance, we often want to express that it needs fixing without saying exactly who has to do the dirty work. We want to avoid pointing fingers, right? So we use a passive voice. But how we construct that passive voice really depends on where we are. In British English, we frequently use need plus the gerund as a passive construction. For example, the car needs washing. The car isn't doing the washing, it's receiving it. Whereas American English prefers the more traditional passive infinitive. The car needs to be washed. Now, both are absolutely correct, but the gerund version is incredibly common in the UK and Ireland. To put this into a highly relatable cultural context, imagine a classic Irish or British household panic regarding the water heater or the immersion. You'll hear someone yell, "Did you leave the immersion on? It needs turning off." Nobody is saying exactly who has to turn it off, just that the action desperately needs to happen right now. And as the Grammar Bank points out, needs cleaning or needs turning off is the perfect, concise alternative to saying needs to be turned off. Honestly, it's a fantastic, advanced grammatical shortcut that makes you sound exactly like a true native speaker. Section 5. Mastering the meaning shift. Navigating this linguistic fork in the road? Yeah, it definitely takes a bit of practice, but the patterns quickly become second nature once you understand the underlying logic, rather than just trying to memorize a dry list. Think of this as your ultimate cheat sheet summarizing all 5 verbs we've covered today. Notice the overarching patterns here. Gerunds heavily lean toward memories of the past, casual experiments, stopping an action entirely, or expressing passive needs. Meanwhile, infinitives consistently lean toward forward-looking tasks, difficult physical efforts, and pausing one thing to start another. The absolute key takeaway from this explainer is to always, always pause and ask yourself what your true intention is before choosing your verb pattern. Are you looking backward or forward? Are you pausing or quitting? Are you experimenting or struggling? Your intention dictates your grammar. So, I'm going to leave you with this final, provocative thought to test your new knowledge. Are you just trying to learn these rules through sheer effort, or will you try reviewing this explainer one more time to see if it works for you? Think about it. Thanks for joining me today, and keep mastering those verbs.